page 383. Chapter 22. You human beings. You are part of the universe, with its immutable, eternal laws and recommendations of the creation, in which a purpose for existence is also determined for you, the sense of the life which is given, and the relatively highest possible evolution of the consciousness. And if you recognize this life purpose and life sense, and bring it into relationship with your own existence at every hour, every day, and at all times, then you will unavoidably recognize yourselves and be Lord and Master over yourselves. And if you are Lord and Master of yourselves, then you will be able to arrange your surroundings in a favorable wise through your knowledge and your wisdom, in order to do things of the right, of the fairness, and of the progress, as well as of the evolution of the consciousness. With such knowledge and such wisdom, however, worries, affliction, misery, and hardship, as well as the deepest sorrow and pain, can also be overcome. Therefore, the real life is made up of more than just those things that are learned and taken in as school knowledge, because truly, there is a really true and higher regulation in the life, which is based in the creational laws and recommendations, from out of which everything comes forth, which becomes and passes. Therefore, it is through this regulation that the becoming and passing is determined, as well as the causality, i.e., the cause and effect. Painful happenings also have their place in the higher regulation of the life, because they also fulfill their purpose. Solely the causes and interconnections, as well as the effects, must be recognized and understood, through which a learning results, out of which, in the end, the evolution results. If you human beings are pursued by the unfortunate, and are unable to form your lives as harmoniously as you would like, then you are able to change this, if you turn to the consonants of the cosmic regulation, and therefore to the creational laws and recommendations, and follow them. Therefore it is useful to consider why precisely this or that is done, so that it is possible to act with confidence, and for everything to turn to the good. Truly, creational powers that are building up you human beings are always at work in you, which penetrate into the consciousness and trigger processes through which consciousness powers come about, the task of which is to heal the harms inflicted on the body, or to remove tensions in the realm of the psyche, as well as to show in you, in your mental, feeling-based, and willing undecidedness, the right way. The creational laws and recommendations and their powers also cause swinging waves to act in the universe, through which you human beings are influenced, and wherethrough you can direct your consciousness and its capabilities, as well as your thoughts and feelings, and form your psyche. And it is necessary for you to know and understand the entirety of these things, if you want to have real and valueful success in the life. It is necessary that you live in ample harmony with the powers that are in you and around you, as well as with the disharmonious powers that stand in contradiction to them, since everything is built up on contrarinesses, and therefore always both poles, positive and negative, must be taken into consideration and included in the efficacy of the equalization, for which there is no middle way. Solely the understanding of the creational laws and recommendations is truthfully the key to the right guidance and mastery of the life. The understanding of the higher regulation of the creational laws and recommendation forms the constitution of the life. Therefore, it is of decisive importance for the existence. You human beings have a larger, innermost self, the spirit form, which animates your consciousness block as a tiny part piece of the creation. Therefore, your life power is dependent on it physically, i.e., bodily. However, you are no form of the duality, because as material bodies you are, as a human being, your own oneness, which is, however, dependent on the spirit form, which gives you the life, and which is in itself also a oneness. Therefore, the spirit form lives in the body of you human beings, i.e., in the region of the superior colliculus, or seat of the spirit, i.e., of the spirit form in the human being, in the quote, roof of the midbrain equals paired junction. The spirit form cannot be influenced through effects on the body. Therefore, neither through heat, cold, hunger, pain, illness, or well-feeling, and solely this spirit form is immortal, because if the physical life ceases, then it escapes into its realm of the other world in order to be reborn in its time, when a new human body is born, with a new consciousness block, new consciousness, subconsciousness, and with a new personality that are created through the overall consciousness block. These creational principles are to be recognized in all life and in all that which is existent, as in the dying and reawakening of the plant world. Therefore also in the becoming and passing and becoming again of light and darkness, as well as in the tides of the seas, and in uncountable other things that are created through the laws and recommendations of the creation in the environment of you human beings, in the nature and in the entire universe. It is only through observing the sky, i.e., the universe with the stars, which are integrated into their 1,000,000,000-year-old orbits and cannot be influenced through you human beings, that it comes about that a universal regulation is given, which not only includes you human beings, but also all existing things, all life forms of all kinds. Therefore, you human beings of Earth, with all your daily occurrences, are a minute part, a minute speck of dust in the entire and unmeasurable, gigantic basin of the creation. And whoever knows the truth about the creation and about its laws and recommendations, and learns knowledge and wisdom out of this, will be free in himself or herself, because he or she creates true love and freedom, as well as peace and harmony in his or her inner nature, out of which a consciousness-based and psychical well-being shines forth. Thus, everything falls away which greedily craves for absolute might, through which the thinking and the life of the fellow human beings shall be ruled, as is normal, amongst those who in their Ausartung of the might-greed not only hold the scepter above you human beings, but also make you subserviently dependent, enslave you, and exploit you in every possible form. Often, brutal, mightful ones of a state are religious zealots, who have been led into the unreal, i.e., fanatics, who do not know any limits or humaneness, and who see in all of you human beings a threat to their own claims for might, if the human beings have self-confidence and truthfully, or in some other wise above average knowledge, and perhaps also have influence in some wise or other. Already the quote, teaching of the prophets, that has been given since time immemorial, speaks of these things, and that you shall defend yourselves against these might-greedy machinations of the authorities and mightful ones, so that fairness, responsibility, and conscientiousness may prevail amongst all peoples, yes, amongst your entire humankind, so that true love may spread all around amongst you human beings, and there may be peace, freedom, and harmony in the human being and on the whole world. The quote, teaching of the prophets, however, has been delivered as a precious good and recorded in the quote, Goblet of the Truth, in order to encourage you to turn to the truthly truth, and therefore also to the creational laws and recommendations, and to follow them, so that the human beings change themselves to the better, in the sense of the values of the laws and recommendations, and that this developmental change will be carried into the posterity through the descendants. Truthly, the knowledge of the truth, the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of the life is open to all who are searching for it, to all who are of open-minded consciousness, and who are willing to turn to the truth and to follow it. And truly, the efficacy of the creational laws and recommendations can give rise to wonderful results in the life of each of you human beings, if you only reach for these efficacies and follow them. Many different processes influence the life of you, but you cannot explain these happenings to yourselves, although this is only because you do not possess the knowledge about the efficacies of the creational laws and recommendations. To many of you, these processes appear oppressive, or subsequently ridiculous. Nevertheless, it is precisely such, and sometimes apparently unsignificant, incidents that lead to an inner burden and unfreedom, to inner unpeace, and to disharmony. And these factors can be so strong that you are hindered in pursuing a distinct end, or simply no longer find the power to liberate yourselves from your worries and from all your other burdens. The factors that have an impact on you, the factors that have an effect on you, human beings, in this case, are very manifold, and can also take on extremely peculiar forms. For example, if you meet another human being for the first time, whose appearance and language make a good impression, in which case, however, aversion and mistrust nevertheless come forth.